Hey girls. Hey ladies, welcome, welcome. Hello ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see two beautiful balls, eyeballs there, ready to go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so leave me a comment. Let me know where you're joining in from. If you're using your parents' device, then chances are that your name is going to appear as theirs. So do me a favor and just tell me your own name. It could be your nickname. Yeah, nicknames are fine. Let me know where you're joining in from so that we can get this party started. So yeah, leave me a comment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Okay, so I see comments are coming. Hey, Mrs. Arina, this is Daniela. Daniela, where are you joining in from? All right, this is Abigail. Abigail is joining in from Lagos. So this age group, you guys, I've been meaning to meet you since forever. So I'm so excited to be here. I have a special news for you guys. I'll tell you at the end of the session. Please remind me. I have a very special news. So welcome, ladies. Welcome. Tell me, what did your parents tell you this session was about? I mean, I hope you didn't come here grumpy and what is it? What is it? Mommy's here again. Just tell me, what were you expecting? What are you expecting to get out of today's session? I like to see in the comments, Daniela, Abigail, and I see more eyeballs, but please, I want to hear your voices. Thank you. Hear your voices at least through the comments, okay? So leave me a comment. Let me know where you're joining in from and what movie and daddy told you were coming to do on this session. Vanessa is chatting from Port Harcourt. So see Vanessa is using her own device. Fantastic. All right. So let me know, what are you expecting to take away from this session? What are you expecting to learn? What did you think the conversation was going to be about? Yeah, Daniela is joining from Port Harcourt. And Port Harcourt is leading this class right now. So we have Port Harcourt, we have Lagos. Watching from Abuja, redeem us, Biko, redeem us, okay? All right, tell me. What are you learning? What are you learning? What are you learning? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Okay, so let me see what's happening. What are you expecting to learn today? What are you expecting the conversation to be about? So let's say your parents didn't tell you what the conversation is about. What will make the conversation interesting for you? What would you like to talk about? So drop it in the comments. There'll surely be a way to, harmonize what I came to teach and what you're looking to learn. Excuse me. Ultimately, we're going to have a wonderful day. So let me see. What do you want to talk about today? My special group of girls. So let me hear you. I'm so happy to be here. We started out today at 12 o'clock. I've spoken to two groups of girls already, 9 to 11-year-olds, and then 12 to 14-year-olds. It's been an amazing time so far. I look forward to having an even a lot more amazing time with you this evening. So please leave me a comment. Let me know what you would like to talk about or what your parents told you this conversation was to be about, and then we'll take it from there. What are your expectations? What do you hope to take away from the session today? All right. So I see 8 girls online. This is exciting. So please tell me if you're just joining. Let me see your tell me your name and let me know where you're joining in from. Let me know your name and where you're joining in from. Let me see. Port Harcourt, all right. So you're joining in from Port Harcourt. Do you want to tell me your name? I have a lot more people from Port Harcourt today. Does that mean we should do a physical class in Port Harcourt for 15 to 17-year-olds only? So Vanessa, over to you. So someone says everything about dating. Oh, nice. Oh, girls, this is amazing. So we have, all right, Ifeoluwa from Port Harcourt. Whoa. So we have more Port Harcourt today. We have everyone on the call who has chatted is from Port Harcourt except for my friend Abigail from Lagos. So she says she thought she was coming to have a conversation about everything about dating. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about peer pressure. I know that your age group starts to feel like, well, peer pressure can be positive and all of that. Why are parents and adults always talking about peer pressure? Anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about when peer pressure is not as positive, when peer pressure is making you consider not doing. I'm not talking about doing yet. I'm talking about consider doing things that your parents have always told you is wrong, but now you're feeling like, is it really a bad thing if I did this? So if you've ever been in a place where you started to feel like something you were being told over the time wasn't such a bad thing, or you are just questioning that is it really a bad thing to consider doing this? If you ever got to that place, leave me a comment that yeah, I've gotten there. I've been at that point where something they've told me repeatedly, suddenly I feel like, is it really bad? I see other people do it, nothing is wrong. I see other people do it, they're not really bad people. For instance, you have those kind of thoughts. Let me know, please. All right, let me know, let me know. Hey girls, you need to talk. So let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, all right? So thank you everyone that has joined. Thank you, Ifeoluwa. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Vanessa. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I've said to Abigail, thank you. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you for commenting as well. So today I'm talking about peer pressure when it is negative. I'm also talking about a situation where, okay, so according to the headline, it's all about girls' midterm chat on dating. Okay. So what I told your parents we're going to be talking about was managing dating and peer pressure. So I was just trying to say peer pressure that pushes you to date, okay, pushes you to consider dating when it's not yet the time to do so. That's what we want to talk about today. So are we ready to go? If you're ready to go, say I'm ready. Just type I'm ready and we're going to go. Oh, someone says I've been there. I've been there where I got to a point where something I'd always been told was wrong. And suddenly I start to feel that is it really a bad thing? Is it really that bad? Or are my parents just making a big deal of it? All right. So someone has been there. Thank you so much, darling, for your honesty. We could ride on that. Thank you so very much. All right. Vanessa says she's ready. Fantastic. Who else is ready? I see one person ready. Who else is ready? So let's go. Oh, this is Somto. Welcome, Somto. Happy to have you here. Somto, where are you joining in from? My nose is interesting today. I'm getting rid of a flu, so I'm a lot better. All right, so I see two people are ready to go. All right, 11 amazing girls are on the call. At least by what I can see, the limitation of YouTube is serious. But at least by what I can say, I see 11 girls. I promise I won't bore you. It's going to be practical conversations. And I want you to be able to ask me questions on the go. That means if you have a question in the course of my conversation, just go ahead and ask. Post it. I'll come back to it, I promise. I'm really here to answer your questions, or I'm here to answer your questions 100%. All right. Okay. All right, so let's go. I want to share my screen with you. I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we're going to go from there. So let me come back here. You're not likely to see my screen as soon as I start. So, all right. All right, ladies. So welcome to the Body Smart Girl Midterm Hangout. So for many of us, we've been in school for half of the term. And if I am correct, school is the one place that you get a whole lot of pressure. All right. School is the one place where there's a lot of pressure. For example, you may come from a home where your parents say dating is wrong until you're a certain age. And then you go to school and you meet other kids whose parents don't share your parents' point of view. their parents feel that it's okay for them to do certain things. And all of a sudden, you start to feel like, what is it with my parents? My parents are so uptight. I know, I've been there. I can relate to that. So doing a midterm hangout is just like a circle time where all girls that get the notice can come out and we can talk about some of the pressure we have felt in the last half of the term, pressures we're currently dealing with, and we can learn how to manage those pressures. So my name is Irene Bangwell, right? I'm a girls coach. I support girls. I design learning tools for girls on sex education and body safety. One of the tools that I have designed is called the Body Smart Girl Bundle. Some of the girls on the call are already using the bundle. The Body Smart Girl Bundle is a collection of sex education books for different ages. And so there's a beautiful book there for 15 to 17-year-olds, 12 to 14-year-olds, 9 to 11, 6 to 8, 3 to 5, just like that. And then we have a set of books, a book rather, for parents where parents can read and learn how to support you. For example, when parents use my book, they'll learn how to talk and relate better with their girls without pushing them away. But I'm also a school owner. I run a school in a local government called Kuje in the Federal Capital Territory. So that means I live in Abuja, right? And so the school fees is 100 naira a day. The school is designed for children from low income families. They pay 100 naira a day. They get books, uniform, they get lunch. The girls get sanitary pads, and they're getting a STEM based education. My big vision, along with my husband, is to see how we can give children that come from struggling families quality education. All right. So, but you're meeting me here because of the work that I do with girls. All right. So it's the work that I do with girls that brought me here. All right. So let's go. So today, the reason I'm having this conversation is because I want you to start understanding what peer pressure feels like and learning how to manage it. Understand what peer pressure feels like, learn how to manage it, especially peer pressure that is related to dating. But today I'm going to be talking about peer pressure in general terms, but many of my examples will wing back to dating and it will make a big difference. So we've done introductions already. So I want to start with the definition of peer pressure. Awesome. So I know you very well. Thank you for joining. So, girls, who can tell me what they understand peer pressure to mean? I'm sure you've heard it a lot, but tell me what your own personal definition for it is. In your own words, tell me what peer pressure means to you. Tell me what peer pressure means to you. All right, I'm listening. I'm waiting to read, rather. Tell me what peer pressure means to you. All right. All right. So, two big words come to my mind while waiting for you to comment because I want to use the time well as well. All right. Two words come to my mind, and I think not. Let me not even talk about two words. One word: influence. Peer pressure is influence. All right. Somebody is influencing you to make certain decisions, and influence is just a big word for saying someone is making you do what you want to do. All right. Someone is making you do what you want to do. Being influenced by your mate. Yeah. Someone or something is influencing the choices you're making. It becomes a problem if the choices you're making goes against what you've been taught or what you know to be the right thing to do. So, Miss Irene, why won't you allow us make our own mistakes? It's because not everyone recovers from a mistake. Not everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much, dear. Being influenced by peers. Not everyone recovers from a mistake. Not everyone is alive after they've made a mistake. And for many of us, our parents had made real major mistakes. And they made those mistakes because there wasn't anyone teaching them. So many people in my generation feel like if our parents had taught us differently, had answered our questions, and we'll make a different set of choices. So now you have parents who are sending you to a class like this, for instance, because they want you to be able to access certain knowledge so that you can make better decisions. So the big word for peer pressure for me is influence. Somebody can determine what you wear to church tomorrow, and that someone can do it without talking to you. You hang around someone who keeps saying that a particular type of dress is boring and bleh. The person says it over and over again. Blue color is bleh. Blue color is bleh. The next thing, your mom buys you a blue dress and you don't like it. So that's peer pressure. So someone says when people around you influence you positively or negatively, absolutely. So peer pressure can be positive, it can be negative. And so today we're looking at mostly the negative part, and we're looking at mostly how it relates to dating. So peer pressure is influence, how someone can determine how you live your life, the kind of choice you make, just because of some of the things they've done around you. So how does peer pressure come? The first thing I need you to know is that sometimes peer pressure comes by people asking you directly to do certain things, suggesting to you to do certain things, offering certain things to you. For example, when it comes to peer pressure, boys asking you out is pressure to date. A boy offering himself that I like you, I want to date you, I want you to be my girlfriend, is an offer, and you can be pressure too. So a girl who is being asked out and a girl who has no one asking her out are having a different set. It's a different level of peer pressure. It's probably more intense for the girl that someone is asking out. Should I say no? I mean, he likes me. He sounds like he really cares. I don't want to hurt him. So the moment you start having this kind of dialogues, you're going through pressure. A sign that you're not going through peer pressure is that as the boy is talking to you, you know what your answer is and you're not thinking about it. You're like, no, I'm not ready to date. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not interested. And then you go away without giving it a second thought. So the moment you can give it a second thought, it means you're going through pressure. Somebody is trying to get you to do something and you're considering it. So the very first kind of pressure that we need to always look at is the fact that someone may ask me to do something. Someone may suggest that something is not bad. I should consider it. Or someone could offer me something. So when you're being asked out, that's an offer. And that offer causes peer pressure. All right. That offer causes pressure for you to date. Suggesting is when your friend tells you it's not a big deal to date the boy. If you think about it very critically, when you're trying to make a decision about doing something, you usually remember what your friend said to you about the matter. True or false? If you want to make a decision about something while you're thinking about it, what your friend said will play in your head. So if it's true for you, type true in the comments. If it's true for you, where you're trying to make a decision and you start going through, well, Anita said this about this, Adiola said this about this, Akin said this about this. You start thinking about some of your friends, what your friends said. At the end of the day, what your friends say can actually determine what decisions you make at the end of the day. Do you get? So because your friends have that much authority, that's why they can influence you. Sometimes when we are talking to our parents, we can tell our parents, nobody influences me, or nobody influences me. There is nobody in this world today that nobody influences. As I'm sitting down here, people influence me. To me, I feel it's when your classmates influence you to do some certain things you have not been familiar with. Oh, I like that. I like that some too. You're correct. So you get the idea. So they could ask you. In fact, some of my friends could ask you outrightly, say, do this now, say yes to him. The one that is suggesting saying it's not a bad idea. The other one is saying, say yes. It's not say yes. He likes you. See, he would have asked Kichi out now. He would have asked the way this one is trying to make him like her, and he didn't. He came to you. They're trying to give you a case to say yes. And so all of those things add to pressure. It means you don't want the pressure. It means you stop. So if you notice that you have a friend whose values don't align with yours when it comes to dating, then it means that you need to not listen to what they say about dating. What does that mean? I don't just say, babe, I beg, I don't need your own opinion. Because for you, everything is dating. I don't want that kind of opinion. Then you can now gravitate towards people that can help you make stronger decisions. Yeah, something that is not part of your background. And I'm trying to say it's not a big deal. And some of those people make you think that something is wrong with your parents. They make you feel like something is wrong with your parents. And the truth of the matter is, in the whole world, there's no one that cares for you and your well being nearly half as much as your parents. So when a classmate starts to make you feel like, oh, your parents are so, your parents are so uptight, da 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 da, you just say, no, 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 you don't have any right to talk about my parents. You don't. It's not in your, you don't have that right. All right. So say whatever you want to say. And what I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear. But don't extend it to say my parents are uptight and everything. All right. Or making you think something's wrong with your parents. So the very first thing, think about what you people are asking you to do, people are suggesting to you, and what people are offering you. It adds pressure. Number two, there are some things that you see. Nobody talked to you about anything. You saw it. Oh, one of your classmates, it was her birthday, and a boy in school bought her a gift. The way they unwrapped it, the pictures, everybody was talking, the way he did this, the way he did that, da 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 da. And then you watch it happen for that classmate, it happened for another classmate, it happened for another classmate, and your birthday is coming in November, and you say, "Car, it would be great if this happens for me." So no one is exactly asking you to date, but you saw how it looked on other people, and so you want to give it a shot. You would like for it to happen to you. So when that happens, you're also under pressure. Remember that pressure is called pressure, or negative peer pressure is what it is because it is trying to get you to make a decision that goes against what you know to be right. It's pressure that is trying to get you to break the rules that you've been taught to live within. And the thing with rules is that rules keep us safe. Think about it for a moment. Rules keep us safe. If everyone was not having sex outside of marriage, there will be no there will be no children raised by single mothers whose fathers abandoned in a particular way. I know that there would still be parents or adults who would walk away from their partners and their partners will be left alone to struggle. But those ones will be the only one we are contending with, not the ones where kids are literally abandoned and they don't know who their father is. It's a bit complex, but rules keep us safe. Let me even use driving, for example. I see some people when they're driving on the road, they start to put a seatbelt when they see road safety. So if you live in Nigeria, federal road safety is a military arm of the government that ensures that people drive safely. Now they tell someone wear seatbelt while driving, and the person starts to not decides not to wear seatbelt until they see federal road safety. Well, that sounds funny until you're in an accident and you realize that the seatbelt literally protects you from flying out of the windshield and crushing your skull. So there is no way in the world that seatbelts are for federal road safety. Seatbelts are for your benefit. So rules are like seatbelt, they strap you in place and prevent you from, in the case of an accident, they shield you from killing yourself. Is it about telling people not to drink and drive? Road safety call is not inside the car when you're drinking and driving. When you're under the influence of alcohol, you can run into a trailer and kill yourself. So rules keep us safe. And every time people break the rules, they expose themselves to danger. So peer pressure is a big deal because it is steadily pushing you to break a rule. When you break that rule, you expose yourself to danger. So we're talking about if friends are suggesting stuff and all of these things, and you're seeing things and they're inspiring you to do stuff, how do you protect yourself in spite of the pressure to not break out? So we've looked at two ways that peer pressure comes. The first one is people are either asking you, suggesting, or offering you something that pressures you. Number two, you're seeing something that looks really cool, and you think that, man, can I just try this? The third thing is when you ascribe authority to someone. For instance, you like a particular musician or you like a particular artist, they're so intelligent, they sound, oh, then everything they say, you want to live by it, including the ones that your parents are telling you not to. You can't judge people's values by their music production. Some people are nice when they sing, but they're not nice in person. That means the person you think they are could be totally different from who they are. So now you are now building your life based on something that Bonner Boy said. You don't know his personal values. You don't know him. Is it, I mean, or maybe Naira Mali. You don't know what he represents, or you see what he represents sometimes. You see what they represent, you see their values, you see their broken system, but sometimes you assume their success makes them a big deal. And success is relative. Success that doesn't come with safety is no success at all. All right, you get the idea. Success that doesn't come with safety is no success at all. So because you've ascribed importance to a celebrity figure, whatever they say, whatever they sing, whatever messages are out there in their lyrics, whatever you see in the movies, starts to shape your behavior. Have you ever met someone, or have you ever found yourself to start talking a certain type of way after watching a particular movie? If you've ever seen yourself, you watched a movie when you were done, the way you talk changed, your vocabulary changed, and then you started thinking a certain way. All right? Have you ever watched a movie, or in a movie they said something and you say, yeah, I kind of agree. If that's ever happened to you, say, true or false, tell me. Let me know. True or false. So I've talked about three scenarios. Tell me, have you ever watched a movie and discovered that, oh, I now talk a certain way, or I behave a certain way because of a character, and then before you know it, there's a line they said in the movie that you kind of say, I think so. I think so. That's all peer pressure. Somebody's trying to, not sometimes not directly at you, but somebody's saying something that is making you reconsider something you already knew. You already knew this thing to be wrong, but all of a sudden you're not feeling, well, is it really as bad as my mom said it? Is it really as? So that's a third way influence is coming. This is through people we've ascribed authority to. Now I'm looking at media as well. Media brings a big influence, all right? So media determines trends. I mean, there are clothes that people wear today and it's trendy that if you tried it in my time, they'll say it's a fashion blunder. But media has changed it. Now everybody accepts it. So when things are out there and things are out there and they're just buzzing, you need to be careful about the trends, because the trend is actually somebody sitting down in their house and deciding what cool is. They decide what is cool. And the rest of us get into the market and pay for their thoughts. So you have somebody who wakes up and say cutting your hair a particular way is the cool thing to do. They sat down and decided on it. And here you are trying to make an adjustment, alter yourself, just because you want to fit that person's idea of what cool is. All right. And then finally, you're in the middle of puberty. Your body's changing, your hormones are reacting a certain type of way. Two things are true for you this season. You feel like dating, you feel like it. Even when you didn't see anyone, you want the opposite sex to compliment you. You kind of like the attention for most girls. You like the attention of someone saying they desire to be close to you. Number two, you see that amongst your peers, this is the thing, like they say, if you're in SS3 and you don't have a boyfriend, this is the issue, this is the thing. That's where peer pressure comes from. Now, what peer pressure does is that it shuts down your mind from thinking things through. It totally shuts down your mind from thinking things through. You don't easily stop to say what could go wrong. Or by the time you want to think about what could go wrong, you have 10 people telling you what could go right. In the meantime, your mom had her own phone, no, your dad had their own phone, no, they're just trying to. So peer pressure tries to stop you from reasoning. So my session today is, how can you still reason even though peer pressure is designed to make you not reason? And so that's what I want to share with you today from this moment on. So based on the things I've said, I'd like you to think about this. Do you know someone who may be going through peer pressure right now? Do you know someone who may be going through peer pressure? In my previous session this afternoon, a girl said that nearly all the girls in her class are dating, and she's beginning to feel a little bit off, a little bit out of place. So when you start to feel odd, when you start to feel that you need something, when you start to feel like something you have is no longer good enough. Oh, thank you, darling. I like this. It's a whole lot of distractions. I love you. All right. Thank you so much for sharing with us. All right. Do you know someone who may be going through peer pressure? All right. So let me go quickly to. So here's the thing I want you to know. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. All right. Someone said yes, they know someone going to through peer pressure. Can you give us a hint of what they're being pressured to do? Like in one sentence, I know someone who's going through peer pressure and they're being pressured to do this. You know someone that is going through peer pressure, yeah. So meanwhile, you need to know something. Anyone can be under peer pressure. Even adults are under peer pressure. This thing I said to you is true for about all the age groups, from your age and up. These things are true. I mean, I don't even want to go into that, all right? But peer pressure is happening across board. So, all right, somebody is being pressured to dress a different way. Do you get? So so peer pressure is happening to Miss Irene talking to you. Do you get the idea? So think about this. I was telling the other class, I used to wear lots of makeup in university. I mean, I go through a lot of peer pressure. So, how do you want to tell me some of the areas that you're going through a lot of pressure in? So, let me give you an example. When I was in university, I used to fix my hair, do my nails. In fact, I mean, I was all over the place. I was making up and everything. And something happened to me in 2008 that changed everything. I just lost interest in everything. I started feeling like there was more to life. Simple, I lost interest in everything. And so every now and again, I have people saying, "Oh, girl, um, I have people coming over and again saying, "Oh, you need to do this." Somebody even told me, "You wear a look on. Why don't you tint your hair? Why don't you tint your hair?" The door is open. Why don't you tint your hair? People ask me that. Why don't you tint your hair? Why don't you tint your hair? People ask me, "Why don't you tint your hair?" And I go, "I'm not interested." I get that pressure. Why won't you even fix your nails? I get through that. All right. Why don't you wear this type of clothes? And so I remember one time I had this friend. She's my bestie actually. When we started being friends, she started talking to me about certain things, and very soon she realized that this is not Irene. I don't. So I've come to a place where I have determined and defined who I am. So when people come into my space, I'm like, this is who I am. You might be a fashionista. You might be a fashionista. I don't consider myself one. And I'm okay with not being one. So unless you're willing to be friends with someone that is not a fashionista, that's the door. And so when I say this is my bestie, this is a friend who loves me, accepts me. My friends actually make fun of me. I mean, early this year, I gave into the pressure. I do makeup when I'm doing some shoots. All right, when I'm doing some shoot, but it's not heavy makeup, has to be nude. Sometimes when they finish doing the makeup, someone says, I didn't even see makeup on your face. I said, that's how I like it. And so I got this makeup artist that works with me every time I need to do the makeup. She told me to buy my own makeup set. I bought it, put a picture, and told people. In fact, if you go to my Instagram handle, that's if you're on Instagram, you'd see why I said, oh, I'm going to start doing makeup. And my besties came to the comment and said, babe, it's not going to happen. Do you know that since I bought that makeup purse, we've opened it once? And we opened it once the day the makeup artist came to do makeup and put it away. So I want you girls to start thinking about defining who you are so that you don't change with everyone that comes. All right. So someone is saying, I'm having pressure to date, to take alcohol, to dress and see some shows. You have to define who you are. And when people are coming in or pressure to change starts to come, you can recognize that that's pressure to change. And so when that pressure to change starts, you can say, this is not who I am. I'm not going this way. I'm not doing this. Because now you already know who you are. Now, if you've not defined who you are, anybody is going to swing you. But if it's about getting pressure, anyone can get under pressure. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So this whole session is all about how do you determine who you are and define it so that when the pressure comes, when I was in secondary school, I had a classmate who would not date. She was actually my junior in school. We went to the same church. And there was a craze in church about dating at the time. There was a craze in church about dating. And this lady says she's not dating anyone. I remember looking up to her and I really admired her strength. And she sustained it. That's because she determined what she wanted. So you girls need to sit down and say, what is it for me? What is it for me for dating? What is it for me for alcohol? What is it for me with dressing? What about you define that I'll never dress like this? It doesn't matter what the trends are. This will be my own fashion rules. Now, if you're using the Body Smart Girl bundle, there are all those things there. You create your own dating rules, you create your own dressing rules, and it becomes kind of like a guide for you. So when people start to pressure you to do wrong, you've already determined that this is never going to be me. Hey, this is not me. So what do we do when we find out that we are under pressure? I designed this acronym to just help us remember everything as much as possible that I said today. It's called Either Way. I don't know if you can type it. You can pronounce it either way and remember IDAWAE. Either way. So you can type it in the comments. Let me know that you're with me right at this point so that I walk through the acronym with you. Either way means what is the somebody saying pressure to drink, do stuff that you've not really done. Yeah. So, sometimes our parents don't even know what's going on. A friend that they think is such a great person to be around can be bringing things to the house for you to take. And your parents trust them. Your parents trust them. They have access to your home. All right. Those kind of things that they say, nobody's gonna know. Nobody would know. But you know because you set the rules, and if you know that the consequences are there, if you violate, the rules. If you break the rules, you're not safe. If you take out the seatbelt and there's an accident, your life could be over. And somebody say, well, Miss Irene, what if there's no accident? You usually always is an accident. If the accident doesn't happen physically, it happens to your mental health. There's a data that says that girls who date and are on girls who are having sex and are taking alcohol are more suicidal than girls who are not. That I think 8 times or so more suicidal. They're more likely to have mental health issues. So if the accident doesn't happen physically, it's going to happen mentally to you. So when you break the rules, look at someone saying there's a whole lot of distractions, there's a whole lot of wahala in this bottle, all right? There's a whole lot, all right? Number one, it takes away your self esteem. Your self worth drops, all right? So there's this thing that I always like to say when I meet with girls of your age, which is that when boys and girls meet, their expectations are totally mismatched. What does that mean? It's like meeting someone and you want to be friends with them, meanwhile, they just want to be eating your snack. So you'll be eating the snack thinking that we are sharing, we're now friends, and then you find out after they're done eating the snack, they've moved. It's the same thing with boys and girls. Love means two different things to them. Love and sex means two different things to them. Girls think that when you have sex with a boy, he would love you and then there's forever after. Boys are on an adventure. What would sex be like with her? And so when he's done with that, he looks at what would sex be like with the other one. Then he goes, what would sex be like with the other one? So there's a mismatch. The girl is looking for love, the boy is looking for sex, and so they meet and they think it's love. And the first few weeks, there's a lot of da 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 da, and before you know it, he's liking someone else, and so the girl's self worth, self confidence goes down. All right, and when self worth and self confidence goes down, it affects every other thing. All right, all right. Someone says it keeps me going. Tell me what keeps you going, dear. And so before you know it, academics starts to fall. There's a lot of distractions. Academics, you can start having an issue with another girl in school. You now have clique versus clique. You can't have fun in school anymore. There are places you don't want to go anymore, especially after the breakup. The people making fun of you, just flying around. And so, for instance, if you started hanging out with a boy who exposed you to drugs, even though the relationship is over, you're hung up. You're doing drugs now. Oh, sweetheart, you don't want to watch Bridgerton. You don't. Miss Irene said you shouldn't. Ah, Bridgerton is poison for a child of your age. Your parents are talking about your safety, I promise you. Your parents are talking about your safety. Your parents are thinking about your safety. I promise you. There's this Bible scripture that says that he who breaks the hedge, the serpent will bite. It means that let's say you're in a fortified space, there's security, you're secured. In those days, farmers used to put like a barbed fence around their animals. It was done in such a way that snakes would not come in. But here is the thing, there was a thing that any farmer that did not look out of that barricade, right? Any farmer that didn't look carefully after the barricade, if something happened to your barbed fence, a snake could come in and it would kill your animals. So the Bible uses it to talk to us about staying within the rules. The reason that you feel pressure to watch Bridgerton is because everyone is talking about it. But what if I told you that Bridgerton was a cup of poison? Would you be upset that all your class are taking the poison? Your classmates are taking the poison. Do you get the idea? Would you be upset? Would you be upset? So would you argue that everyone took this poison? I have to take my shot, sweetheart. I will really want you to answer me. If I told you that that series was poison for real, that series can lead you to an addiction. That series can lead you to all kinds of give you sexual ideas that can lead you astray. Would you still want to take it if I said it would poison you? If I said that that series was going to lead you into very destructive things over the next 3, 5 years of your life, would you still want to take it? So is it fair that your parents are not handing you a cup of poison? Is it fair? So, sweetheart, all right. So sometimes it's tough. So I'm telling you that even when you become 22, when you become 20 and you become 18, and it's no longer about your parents, because the rules that your parents are giving you now really is not for the now alone. It's also for the tomorrow when your parents are not there. It's also for when you've moved out of home and you've gone to school, you're now on your own. Would you still be able to hold yourself accountable to those rules? Because those rules have never been about your parents. They're really about your own well being. They're not about your parents. They are really about your own well being. I promise you. I want you to trust me. They are not about your parents, they're about your own well being. So let's break down what this either way means. So number one, it means identify where you feel pressure. We've already done all of that. There's someone that says she's being pressured to date, alcohol, and so on and so forth, and even watch certain things. All right. So identify where you feel pressured. Are you being pressured to date? Are you being pressured to have sex? Are you being pressured to bully? Are you being pressured to watch something inappropriate? So identify it. What is it that you're being pressured to do? The moment you identify what it is, determine what you want. So if you're being pressured to date, determine what you really want out of dating. You can say, well, I think I want to date, but I want it to be safe dating. Whatever you determine it first. Or you can determine, I don't want to date, but I don't know what to do with the pressure. After you've determined what you want, then sit down and also ask yourself. Let's say you said, I want to date, but I want to date a gentle guy so that it will be safe. After you finish determining that, come back and ask yourself, why is it important for you to date? Or if you say, I don't want to date, why is it important for you to not date? So sit down on your own so that whatever you decide becomes more than what your parents said. Hey, Farida, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So whatever you decide to do, whether it's to date or not date, ask yourself, why is it important? If your decision is to date, why do you need to date? Some of us want to date because we don't have a strong self-esteem. We think that a boy liking us is what makes us special. So that means there's a problem you need to fix. Because if that boy starts to date you today and then starts to date another girl, which he's most likely to do, you're going to be mentally ruined. You're better off not getting into it because your motive for getting into it is even wrong. And most of the time, at your age, the motive of the boy also coming into that dating relationship is not right. So both of you are going to exploit each other. So you have to sit down and ask yourself, why is this thing important to me? Why do I feel that I must do this now? Why must I do it now? And ask yourself. If you also say, I don't want to date, why is that important to you? So if you say you don't want to date, you can tell yourself, I want to maintain my grades at school. I know this will be a distraction. Determine whatever. Ask yourself, determine why it's important. But when you're done, look for an adult to talk to. I always recommend talking to your parents. Look for a trusted adult. If you're still struggling to have that conversation with your parent, when you come for the boot camp in December, talk to someone, talk to one of the coaches at your center. Talk to me if you're in the same center as I would be. Talk to me, come out and let's talk. Tell us what it is, whatever you decided to date or not to date. And talk to an adult, because when you talk to an adult, they can help you see it from a bigger perspective. When you're done determining what is pressuring you, what you want, asking yourself why what you want is important than talking to a trusted adult, then ask yourself, who are the people that are influencing me to think that I need this thing right now? Kilode, why do I want to date now? Right? Why do I want to date now? Why do I feel that if I don't date, I'm going to die? Why do I want to date now? Hi, Michelle. Welcome, welcome. Why do I want to date now? So, who are the people influencing me? If it's a celebrity you're following and you may like their music, well, you need to draw the line and say, well, I like the way they sound, I like the way they dance, but I'm not going about the messaging in their music. Their music is triggering me. Their music is making me want to do things. I've been watching this series. This series is making me want to do stuff. So you're identifying the people shaping what you believe about different things, pushing you to do certain things, encouraging you. So let me move away from the TV and the celebrities and come back to class and come back to your cousins and come back to your neighbors and come back to the young people at church young people at the mosque where you hang out, depending on how your mosque is structured. Ask yourself, who are the people encouraging me to do these things? So when you make a list and say on dating, so and so person are the people really making me consider dating. And this is how they're encouraging me. Oh. This is how they're pushing me. Oh. This is how they're inspiring me. Remember that peer pressure comes from 4 places. Either what people ask us to do, suggest to us, or offer us. What we see happening around us. What people we consider in authority are doing. And what the hormonal impact of going through puberty is also pushing us to get into. So write down where all the influences are coming from. When you're done, if you realize that you decided to not date, and the place where you're getting the strength to not want to date is from the girl that sits next to your seat. She may not have been your friend yet, but you notice that there's a way she does. There's a way she behaves in class, and she's inspiring you to not want to date. It means that you want to get closer to her. So if it is a positive influence she's bringing into your life, amplify it. Amplify it means increase the impact of that voice. Get closer to her, talk more so that you have her voice a little more in your head than before. If it's your mom that is encouraging you to say you don't want to date, spend more time. Ask her to tell you her stories. Because remember, when you're trying to make a decision, you're literally hearing other people's stories in your head. You're literally hearing other people's experiences in your head. And so, because you're hearing these experiences in your head, it helps you when the pressure is so much. After a while, the pressure will reduce because you have a lot, you kind of have enough arguments in your head supporting what decisions you want to make. Okay, someone says this pressure is mostly from school. Fantastic. So you start looking for the positive influences in school. Let's say the teacher. There could be a cleaner in school that keeps encouraging you. And when she sees you doing something wrong, she calls you out and scolds you. You can go to her and say, Auntie, why are you always doing that to me? And she could tell you, it could be her personal story that is motivating her to come after you and pick on you the way she does. It could be a teacher that scolds you a lot. You could go back to them and say, I notice you're always doing this. Is there any reason? Because you're just trying to get more of their thoughts. You're trying to get more of their thoughts into your head. So because it's positive, it's helping you to stay within the rules. You're kind of strengthening yourself. So it's like going to a war, and in this war against whatever the peer pressure is pushing you to do, you need many arrows. So the arrows are each person's reason for telling you to stay strong. So the more arrows you have, you can outlive whatever the pressure is. You can endure for longer whatever the pressure is. So if it's a positive influence, soak it in, take it in. If you're getting this which compulsorily, this should also come from the Bible. For those of us that are Christians, it should come from the Bible. I mean, the Bible has a whole long line of verses. A whole long line of verses. Let me even read one of them for you. One that I love so much. It says something here. The Bible says in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, that you should not copy the behavior in the world. All right? Don't copy the behavior in the world. That's Romans 12, verse 2. Another scripture says, don't love the things that are in the world. Things that are in the world are things that tell you, do it how you feel it. Follow what your body wants. Follow what your flesh wants. But God wants us disciplined. God wants us disciplined. You know, Proverbs 1 verse 10 says, my son, or let's put it like my daughters, if sinners try to lead you into sin, don't go with them. So if it is Bible scriptures, fill your space with them. Make stickers, write it in different places, and remind yourself. So if an influence is helping you stay strong and it's positive, increase the volume of it. All right? Increase the volume of it. Because remember, peer pressure is trying to get you to do something that's going to get you into trouble. So Miss Irene is talking about what you do. So somebody says, I need to amplify my mom, the vice principal, and my dad. Yes, you need to amplify them. And one way you amplify them is start showing them more respect. Start esteeming what they say to you. Because peer pressure wants you to think that what they're doing is not a big deal. But amplifying means you show them respect. You show them consideration. The more you show them respect physically, the more what they say sticks in your mind. So when the pressure is much, you remember what they said, and they become authority figures. You remember what I said, ascribing authority and pressure. So you've ascribed authority to them, and so what they say to you starts to have power. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that there might be peer pressure, but there's a strategy to overcome it. And it's actually with filling up ourselves, especially our heads and our thinking, with the right mindset of what is right, and that thing that is right is not just right because our parents said it is right because it's beneficial to us. Yeah, it's beneficial to us. And so the final E in either way says, if something is negative, eliminate it. If there's a show that is triggering you the negative way to want to do certain things, remove it from your playlist. If it's music, remove it from your playlist. If it's friends, reduce how much hanging out you do with them. Let me give you an example. You know, one day in one of our classes, Farida said you can't disband friends like that, because a friend could be bad in one thing, but they have other value. And that's correct. So what I do is, as an adult, if I know a friend that is likely to move me to do something negative in an area, I don't go to them for advice in that area. So let me give you an instance. Maybe I got some money. I know the friend that will tell me to save the money and invest. I know the one that will tell me, hey girl, spending time. So when I have money and I want to be reasonable, I know the friend to call. So it means that when you have a crush on someone, then you know the friend not to tell, because you know that friend is going to blow it out of proportion. She doesn't share the same values. But then you may have another friend who talks to you about being accountable. So that's the person you go to talk about that one. So we kind of, there's a way we group the friend. It's like a Venn diagram. There's a way you group the friends that we can talk to about this and the friends that we can talk to about this, because we're trying to ensure that we don't have enough negativity in our space pushing us to do the wrong things. So, girls, here's the final part of our talk today. We have a boot camp coming. This is going to be the fourth, what am I saying? This is going to be the fifth edition of our boot camp. Let me go again. August last year, December, April, September, August. So we're going to have a fifth edition of the Body Smart Girl boot camp. But for your age group, we're doing something different. So we've always had you girls come out on Zoom, but we think it can be more. So what we're doing starting in December is that your age group will not necessarily meet online anymore. Some people may still be online. Here's what we are planning to do. Any city that we have up to 5, 6 girls, we want to get a physical space where you can come out to. Any city where we have 6 girls registered or 10 girls registered, we're going to have a small city center. I'm still going to teach virtually, but we want you to come out and interact with other girls and share and do group work and do presentations and do debate and talk. So your sessions will no longer be 1 hour like it used to be online. It's going to be 4 hour sessions for 2 days. We'll do one day on a Sunday fully virtual on a Sunday, but the next 2 days, the remaining 2 days will be physical. So the boot camp is a little different from your group because we want you to come out of home and be in a different setting. We know that sometimes some girls are at home with their parents and they're not able to express themselves like they would. We really want to hear you. We want to hear what you're dealing with. We want to support you practically. So we want to be able to sit down like this. I'm in Abuja and there's Abuja Center, there's Lagos Center. In Lagos, we're going to have a center in mainland. I want to have a center in, excuse me, on the island. We're going to have a center in Port Harcourt. I know we're going to have a center in Uyo. So any states that we have up to 10 girls registered, we're going to get the girls to come out. Now, in a state where the girls were not up to 10, they will still join virtually. All right. But I think it will be a much richer experience when you hear when the girls at home also are seeing what the girls from Uyo are saying. We're arguing and it's very engaging. We want it to be fun. We're going to do a lot of games on site. So there'll be physical things that are not done online and then we'll come back online. But whatever the case is, we're planning to have a physical meeting with you guys, and it's going to be amazing. And so, if you'd like to be a part of the bootcamp, we're just going to talk about these things where we're looking at from body image, I don't feel beautiful, or why can't I do this? Are there not too many rules in principled homes? We're going to break all of those down. Even you're going to do personal researches, we're going to give you case studies to work on, and you're also going to be able to suggest to us some fun things you want to do. So, this is why your bootcamp has been designed like this. All the other age groups are meeting on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. But your age group, your first meeting is on the 18th. So we have a 1 hour brainstorming session with you on Sunday, the 18th of December, where we're going to talk and plan the week. And so you're going to know what center you're in. We're going to ask questions. You're going to recommend things that you'd like to see at the classes. But your own classes are going to be for the 22nd and 23rd of December. Yeah. 22nd and 23rd, physical. So you go to the place, to the venue in your city, and then we'll meet. We'll have a really wonderful time. So if you'd like to be a part of that, all you need to do is take a screenshot of this slide right now. All right. How much is the boot camp for your age group? If you registered today, it's 12,500. But if you register after November 10th, it's 15,000 naira. And that includes your conference park and your lodge. And we're going to have a wonderful time. All right. So that's what it is at the moment. So if you'd like to be a part of it, just send your ask your friends to send us a WhatsApp with the word camp. WhatsApp to 0810094432. I posted the line at the number. You can also take a screenshot and then make sure you're part of the bootcamp. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, Farida, thank you something. So thank you so much. It's going to be exciting. So we're going to have brainstorming, and I would like for us to talk about faith and sexuality. Faith and sexuality. This is what religion is telling us. And isn't religion the safest place to be? And so we're going to have those kind of deliberations, because sometimes when you come from a home where there's a lot of faith structures, when you get into school, some people want to make you feel stupid for believing in your faith. And so we're going to be looking at all of that. Some of you are going to be going abroad next school year for university. You're going to be going to communities where people are more liberal in different things. So how would you navigate? How would you navigate if you get into a space where everybody but you believes a certain type of idea? How would you navigate? So that's what's going to be happening in December. So here's what I want to ask you. See if you can get 5 of your friends to come. Now, if you want us to have a physical center for you to go out to in your city, it's simple. Get your friends to get their moms and their dads to register them. Because the moment you're up to 10, there's going to be a center. All right? Whether it's in Yola, wherever part of the world, even if it's in the UK. If you people are in the same city, let's say everybody's in Manchester, we're going to work out a way for you to have a meeting point. All right? We're going to have work out something where you have a meeting point, where you come out and interact with each other. Because I know one thing it will do for you is going to start giving you a new circle of friendship. And if we build it right, it can be a source of positive influence to you girls. So I've had a wonderful time hanging out with you girls today. So let me know if you learned something. I don't want to go past 3 o'clock. That's the time we're supposed to wrap up. And so we are on our 59th minute right now. So leave me a comment. Let me know if you learned something and if you'll be coming to the camp. Let me know. How much is the book for teens? Okay. So for 15 to 17-year-olds, I think the bundle is 12,500, but it contains a book for your parents as well. It contains a book for your parents. It contains a book for your parents. I think if it's only your book is about I'm not sure what the price is, but it comes as a bundle. So there's a book for you, there's a book for your parents, and then there's a game card for you to play with your to for you to play with your parents, yeah, for sex education. Yes, it can be transported to you. Shipping to Uyo is 4,000 naira, all right? So it will be delivered to you in Uyo. So it's 12,500 for the bundle, and then it's 4,000 naira to ship to Uyo. I want to thank you girls for coming out. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in December. Can you help us get as many girls in your school as possible to participate, whether they're in your class or not? For those of you that are prefects, talk to your friends about this boot camp, share this number with them to share with their parents, and get you registered to be a part of the boot camp. I want to thank you so much for your time. I value it. I appreciate you, and I love you so much from the depth of my heart. Thank you so much for coming out today. And give a hug to your parents for making sure that you're a part of this session today. God bless you.